Okay, back to work. Oh, hey guys, how you doing? One says make love, not guns. I mean, like the sentiment. What do you think about that? Interesting. Excuse me. Let's keep it going. I don't know what to do next. Oh yeah. Do I want to work on the trigger? I want to work on this nozzle. I guess we'll just keep working on the trigger, huh? I guess this is called a trigger guard. Again, I don't know anything about guns. But I guess they're modeled a lot. I mean, Every game has a gun in it these days. I'm just gonna take this by slice. Did my screencast, my keycast, like turn off? What? Where are you? Sorry about that. Just follow along. Steak. Yesterday I was making purses. News or anything you guys have been interested in? You can talk about anything. We're just doing the general shape. And I've never done this before, so I've never done a gun before. It's kind of new to me. As opposed to later, we'll just kind of like start beveling things, creating more detail. They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games. I just do that's fact, and I don't feel no shame. It's a mood you lack. I go crazy. You could grab these and like extrude it. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. But I'm guessing we do want to take this curve in a specific way. Maybe not. I don't know. Together. And here too, we have this button thing. We're gonna have it on both sides. We gotta make sure that we can make it prominent on both sides. So here it's prominent, other side it's flush. Makes me feel like it's a switch of some sort. Kind of like I don't know what I'm talking about, but it could be like the trigger guard. Like the safety. Like, you know how these drills here? Have this middle switch for forward and backwards. That's what I'm assuming it's something like that. And when you put it in the middle, it doesn't do anything. But when you put it on the side, it's when it does something. Right? Forward and back, and then in the middle, it's nothing. Obviously this isn't like a gun or anything, but I'm guessing that's what that is. It's like an additional safety feature. I've never shot a Glock before, so again, you're gonna have to make stuff up as you go a little bit. That's what it's like modeling in Blender. All right. There's a million ways to do something. You really got to make sure that you're in X-ray mode when you're wrapping verts like this. Make sure you're X-ray mode so that you're getting the vertices in the back too. I'm not entirely sure how to take this. More edge loops. Can I just go up? GG, come on. And I tend to get carried away right from the beginning. It really should be doing more of a generic thing. Like, it doesn't need to be just kind of like blotting out the general shape, right? And then later you come in, you add more edge loops within those details. Same thing when you're modeling. Same thing when you're modeling characters too. You want to, I think, take it in that same kind of direction. You want to start with like a general shape, and then you want to slowly introduce more vertices where you need them. And if you're doing animation, you want to kind of keep them quads. And then I think I want to keep these things kind of like straight up. So you can do scale Y 0. That'll make these things vertical. Later we go in and we get angular if needed. I don't know. Huh? I think. we said it has to be flat, right? Yeah, so I really won't be using this as a... Maybe using this in animation, who knows? The guy might want it for his website. I didn't scale these. Getting a call. Hello? Emma? Yes, Emma, how you doing? Hey, Nina, why? Oh. Yeah, I'll probably just keep doing the same thing I was doing before, which, you know, I have to, yeah, I gotta take him with me. Which is fine, you know, when we come back, then I'll put him down for a nap again. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, but I mean, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Like, I have to deal with it anyway, and I make him go to sleep again. I just play with him until he gets tired. Make him laugh a lot, and then he gets tired, and then he goes to sleep.
Swear I won't forget this. Why do I regret this? In my mind, reckless. Thoughts are feeling endless. Sitting
Yeah.
up, I'm breathless. Anxiety's
Yeah, it's from
infectious.
yeah, my mother thing, but
betrayed and
he's I guess she's
embarrassed.
probably trying to put him down now.
I hate being broken. I feel like an ocean filled up with emotion. Anger ain't a potion.
Yeah.
Rub it on like lotion. I can feel it soaking. Reopen, the scars have awoken. I can't move on.
Yeah, she usually already tries to start putting him down. He's a little resistant.
Every breath hold, 'cause I can't move on till I let go. I can't move on till I
Okay,
let go.
nice one.
I feel
Yeah.
so lost, never at home.
Okay, bye bye. Love you too. Bye.
Strong, every breath hold, 'cause I can't move on till I let go. Let's go! I need time to heal the pain. can't move on till I let go. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold. 'Cause I can't move on till I let go.
Hmm. Come on. Keep pushing this back. Yes. No. I'll tell you, the gaming mouse really comes in handy. Now, obviously, you want to probably try to model stuff um, using them using a mirror modifier. But since this gun is a little asymmetric, I'll be going back and forth probably. Like this could be done with the mirror modifier. The basic shape should be done with the mirror modifier. And then you'd apply it and go in afterwards. And I'm trying to keep everything as quad so it's as professional as possible. It probably won't. It's not gonna be perfect. That's alright. Oh, thank you very much. Huh? Guys, isn't it time for lunch? You guys should remind me. No, do eat. Have you guys eaten? You guys are healthy. what's up, man? We need some chatters in here. What's going on? Okay, it's only my third or fourth time actually doing this, streaming. Eventually, I'd like to stream games. You have to go popping in and out of wireframe mode and solid mode. I need to line up vertices. I'm not failing. Wireframe to capture behind, and if you're doing this more intelligently using mirror modifier, you'll have to do that less. I'm gonna get a gist for this. I feel like I could go further. You see, and already I messed up. These should be in alignment. Do that by doing scale Y0, scale Z0, scale. Sure they don't fuse together. If you do scale X0, they'll overlap each other. Okay, so there's an additional bevel going toward the gun too, so that's what I'm confused about. Merging, 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 trying to keep everything as quads. Here is an example of something that's not a quad. In this case, you know, you could go in, do another loop cut. There or so. Do a loop cut. Yeah. An additional loop cut, and I'm not sure if I really want that right now. Merged it all by dragging and doing the auto merge. I'm gonna select all, merge by distance to make sure I don't have anything overlapping. We had 10 vertices overlapping. That's why you do that. That gap does seem a little odd. For some reason I have the urge to like fix that a bit. Now I'm doing stuff to one side, and I really kind of like don't want to do it to the other side. We're gonna try to do the mirror modifier now. Let's go into wireframe mode. Should be able to just good. We should cut this thing in half. Thing. So hit K for cut. Then turn on. Oops. Turn on increment. Have global ready. K for cut. Select the middle. Press C to cut all the way through. C to cut all the way through, and then Y to keep yourself. Y to keep yourself in the direction you want to be in. Click enter. And we didn't go all the way through. What happened? Try that again. Enter. There we go. Alright, now we've bisected this in half. So we should be able to just grab that half we want to delete. Sure, it's such. I click delete vertices. Right. Hit all. Save for all. Go to your modifier. Add modifier. Search mirror. It's kind of already done it for us. There's gonna be a double thing in here in the middle. So enable clipping, attach it, and then onto wireframe mode again. Grab those center vertices. Make sure we're looking at this thing right. Clipping and drag it over until the clipping merges. There you go. So now you should have something solid. Now hopefully when you take something on one end and you move it around, it'll happen to the other end. So that works. Now we can continue modeling and have everything mirrored. You could go further and keep doing this at the end. I think I was starting to hit a spot where it's getting irritated and I want to do it. Afterwards, you'll apply it. What happens if you apply it? If you apply it now, object mode, apply. And then start grabbing stuff. It's no longer mirroring. So just stay in mirror mode until you're done. And hopefully that won't cause too much lagging. If you have too many modifiers set up, you're gonna get some lagging. Until you start applying them. So we're kind of getting closer to what we want here. Curious if we start beveling these, how we get clipping. I'm gonna limit the clipping. You press C, show you what you're able to do without clipping, but there we're not having much luck. But it's not like I want to have a sharp edge here. Something's weird. Make sure you're always going back to all merge by distance. And see what happens if you make manifold. And then try again. And maybe we can adjust this because we need this flow a little bit more. Grab that GX. Oh. Adjust this vert. Paying attention, making sure it's happening on the other side. And that's relative. Oof, man, I need to turn the heater on in here. It's getting cold. So how's it going? If you're hopping into chat, say something, say hi, talk. How's life? Any of you millennials? How's millennial life been treating you? So beveling this makes some of this look alright, and some of it look less alright. Because we have some gap in here. And plus you've got all these n-gons. Could start adding more detail, like I'm thinking about adding more loop cuts. This kind of needs it. Let's see what's in the nap. Fake news. A little unsettling when I point this thing in my direction on the computer. That's interesting. Again, just working on this gun model. You could be doing this for animation. You can be doing this for maybe training or toys. I don't own any weapons, so I'm not doing this for a friend. Oh god, really? Guns is typically not my cup of tea, but friend's got a business idea he wants to try. I said, hey, what a wonderful time to play. I'm here for you. Oh boy, I'm yawning a lot. Must be tired. I did go to sleep late last night. Can't help it. I was watching something very interesting. Yes, everyone in my house is starting to get sick. My daughter, my son, they're just little kids. Figure out if I got sick a few months ago and now they're starting to get sick, or if my wife is a teacher and she sometimes gets sick from her students, then maybe passes it on to us a while later. But I don't know. We'll see. Everyone's getting what I had a few months ago. I don't know. But when my police officer friend came, he was trying to make some a cuff hanger. This that was pretty cool. It's interesting. This is front back loop. It's loop and hook on the front and back. That is cool. Looks like that. I don't have a pair of cuffs, but they would. But I started drinking my remedy. Using my lemon remedy. Lime. Lime? Lemon? Lemon? Lime. Lime remedy. Maybe I'm killing the infection before it takes hold. That lime remedy is really useful. Oh my gosh, you take some lime, squeeze it into the cup, add salt, do some gargles with your throat. It'll kill. It'll lower the acidity in your throat, and so it'll kill whatever cold or virus or infection you might have before it really takes hold of you. Old Dominican style remedy. Of course, if you don't want a lot of salt, you shouldn't take a lot of salt for your blood pressure issues. But it's just a pinch of salt, and it does wonders. Believe me. Believe me, you. Okay, so I think we got a general gist here of what's going on. Just keep adding edge loops, keep dragging them into position. So you like what you see. I need to add some more edge loops here. Maybe another one. This thing looks funky. Yep. Guys, I was really adjusting them. I might not need that. I might not need that edge loop there. Going to bevel. That's gonna add edge loops. Gonna tighten it up. You see here, I got a bunch of gap. Here, obviously, got a lot of gap. So we're gonna need a few edge loops there to reinforce that shape. This is all a little complex. I kind of want to redo these. It's going to merge at last. At first is what I mean. No. Some of that. I'm still got a triangle. Just dissolve that. Why don't I create two triangles? Because that's it's a quad. Triangles over here. It's like a puzzle. I think I always had that triangle there, right? Let's just keep going back. Yeah. Maybe there's no way really to. Gotta be a way. Mm. I'll just leave it like that. Whatever. I keep on moving. I went yesterday to get my back checked out again. I have a scoliosis. So when I was a kid, I don't really call it idiopathic scoliosis or whatever. That's what they call it when they just don't know what causes it. And when I was 18, I had internal fixators put in, so I had surgery to fuse part of my spine straighter. I don't know. The X-rays look like it's not straight, so it's always going to be some curvature to it. But I had the surgery done. Mind blowing. pain I have to deal with in the future. With hardware putting it back. And then 10 years after that, when I was 28, I had hardware removed because something was causing me pain. I went to the doctor. I went to my, I went to the, I tried to go back to the same doctor who initially did the surgery, and he passed away from brain cancer. I had known that he passed away from brain cancer. He had brain cancer when he was operating on me, which I always wonder about that. Is that a smart idea to have somebody with brain cancer operating on me? I don't know. I don't want to judge. He was a good man. And so I went into his replacement surgeon to get to figure out what happened. And he said, he recommended having everything removed, except for a fragment of a screw, large fragment of a screw, still lodged in one of my vertebrae, one of my thoracic vertebrae. And that thing, I'm not sure if that's the cause of my pain, but whenever I do something or do a lot of activities, it causes a lot of pain. I can barely get up the next day. So I went to him again after a couple more years, and still some pain. I think it was better after the hardware removal, but I went back to him complaining of pain again, and I went not only to him, but I got some other opinions too, from some other surgeons, and I met a surgeon who said, "Yeah, let's just schedule surgery to remove it." And the problem with this screw is that it has been broken off, so it is buried inside one of my vertebrae. It is broken off in there. Imagine like you screwing a screw into a piece of wood, and then it snaps off at the top head. So I've got a pretty large screw stuck in my vertebra with the head snapped off. So there's no way of retrieving it unless you do some excavating around the vertebra, then using a vice grip to grab it, and then try to turn it out with some traction while at the same time not trying to slip and hit any important nerves or anything. So I went. So he wanted to schedule the surgery, but I was kind of wary about it. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna cause more pain. What? Fast forward. So I take a break. I don't go. I don't do the surgery. Fast forward a year. Yesterday. Fast forward another year. I go back to that same doctor who was ready to schedule the surgery, and none of it. He has a change of heart. He thinks that it's too risky to perform the extraction. And well, that's interesting. The other last year you were like ready to go. It turned out that he had just had a hardware removal the day before yesterday, and he said that he was operating on somebody with the same issue in the cervical of the cervix of the spine, so the neck, and they attach the vice grip and starts to back out the screw, and they slip, and they hit the spinal cord while he slipped, and he told me he nearly shit his pants. Those were his exact words. And when you have a surgeon and the surgeon says, "I nearly shit my pants," that is something to pay attention to. So he refuses to do the surgery. You know, tells me I should try doing physical therapy instead, which is fine. You know, good call, I think. But the way he said it really got me thinking. Well, I was like, okay, well, I'm in a ton of pain occasionally. Whenever I do something like sleep on my side, which God forbid somebody wants to sleep on their side. But I also don't want to be paralyzed. He says to me, "You're too young. You're too young to be paralyzed in case anything happens." Holy cow! Really? There's like a pretty big risk of the tool slipping, hitting me in the spine, and being partially paralyzed. I'm assuming. Well, he said partially paralyzed, but you know, if you slip and hit the spinal cord, you know, you can be partially paralyzed, or maybe you're hitting the one of the nerves that exit the spine and go to your legs or arms. That can happen. So I was like, okay, well, you know, you're the doctor. I guess I just live with the pain. It's another challenge on its own. Huge hurdle. Sorry, I keep yawning. Anyway, so if you have scoliosis and you have back surgery and stuff, and back when I had my spinal surgery, they were using stainless steel for the majority of surgeries. For the things like the pinnacle screws. These days they use titanium, more biocompatible than stainless steel. And stainless steel, it being not as compatible, tends to wiggle and loosen and cause degradation, especially if it's has constant load on it. I guess constant load will make it wither away at the bone site. So that'll cause, you know, if the bone starts whittling away at the site, you get like exfoliated system. How do I get this pushed back? I almost want to use like proportional editing or something. Just to use it. You know, different ones. Well, that's somewhat of a scary thought, huh? Being paralyzed? Not good. Problem is, I just hope my pain doesn't just like get out of control. Oops. It goes, oh boy. Excuse me. I think this guy, Luigi Mangione, he had spinal fusion too, or something. or his mother had a spinal fusion. He wrote about, I don't know, hearing his mother in pain or distended person. I know what that's like. Percent. Fortunately, in our current society, we don't have any decent health care. I know some people will say, "Oh, if you have like socialized health care, like Canada, it takes forever to see a specialist and blah blah blah." But dude, like, it takes a long time to see a specialist here anyway. Like, usually I gotta wait a month or two before I see a specialist. Okay, what's the difference? Excuse me, we're just having to pay a ton of money and we're not actually getting better service. I feel like I don't know, the Canadian method might be, I don't know how you quantify you're getting better service because things also are changing rapidly. You'd say that used to be getting medicine in the United States is like primo, like people would come here from other countries to be treated, and I don't know now like lots of these institutions are like outdoing American institutions. Places like China, their their medical practices are advancing faster than our medical practice. Like does that really? There, I think like more than half of like the top research universities used to be like in America. It used to be the top schools for research were here, but now top schools for research are beginning to be in China, which I don't mind. But in China, like the healthcare is is both vicious but also more kind of more affordable. Like if you don't, I know if you don't have, my wife is from China, so she'll tell me often. If you don't have insurance in China, like you won't get service. The doctors will leave you out. But I mean, the doctor will leave you out, like literally, like people dying in the front of the hospital because they can't pay for treatment. But it's kind of like starting to become like that here in America. Like if your insurance company denies you, you're not getting treatment. So it's like people say, "Oh, it's healthcare is shitty in other places." Well, first of all, that's changing. It's not becoming so shitty in other countries. It's getting pretty good. Ever since and it's cheaper. Like, I got stitches on my foot, 4 stitches on my foot, um, in the Dominican Republic where my parents are from, and that that those 4 stitches only costed like $5, and when I came home here, I got to remove whatever. Years later, I had an accident and I got 4 stitches on my forehead, and that should costed $500. You know, and like it was like kind of like mediocre. Like the stitches got slightly infected. You know, it was fine, but that didn't happen in the Dominican Republic. And people would say the Dominican Republic is, you know, a third world country. So what does that say about us then? Okay, it's just getting way out of control, dude. And I don't know a lot, but I know a little bit about them. I mean, I have a business I mean, I make prosthetics, so you know, I can I can see how much things how much some things cost. I can see how much prosthetic stuff costs. You know, prosthetic stuff like it's so funny. Prosthetic stuff it costs a pretty penny. It's a lot of money. You'd be paying you'd be paying tens of thousands of dollars for a single digit finger. You know, and I mean, tens of thousands of dollars for like for a finger replacement. I don't I don't get that much. I don't get that much money. I barely get paid. But because I'm just a fabricator. I'm not the clinic. I mean, what makes the most money. But when I have these fingers in house and I'm looking at the fingers, what do they say on them? It says made in China on these fingers. And boy, I guarantee you that their markup is less than the markups at these clinics, you know, that we work at. So like who is doing the gouging? Where is the gouging coming from? It's hard to say. It's a little bit of everywhere, you know. Everyone's got their markup and everybody gets greedy at a certain point. And then people get comfortable with the greed. They start looking for places where they can cut as things get expensive, as labor gets, you know, incrementally more expensive because of inflation. People want to get paid more, which is, I mean, hey, I mean, if you have inflation, that's going to be natural. But you know, I can't. I don't really pay. I don't blame people for needing to get paid more. I mean, that's like I said, that's natural. You can't afford, you know, fresh vegetables anymore. You're gonna want to get paid enough so you can afford fresh veggies. So instead of getting equipment made in the USA or in Europe or whatever, let's just say the USA, get stuff made in China. Okay, if the price is cheaper in China, do you adjust the price? Do you lower the price? You know, or do you keep it the same? Well, obviously they're going to try to keep it the same as the American made products because they're going to be able to maximize those profits. But what does that do when you go to the insurance company and you say, well, you know, we're going to be charging more because, you know, because we can, the same thing. So what happens then? The insurance company turns around and passes the cost on to you know to you. Your premiums go up. And when you have like these you know clinics becoming corporations, For some reason, they get really greedy. In my opinion, it's mostly like bloating executive pay. They want to figure out how to keep their profit margins super high as possible. So then, you can easily get like a decrease in quality because they're always trying to find a way to save money. And I'm not saying like these fingers I'm talking about specifically, 3D printed fingers, right? They're 3D printed fingers. And 3D printed fingers, okay, it's like it's gonna be it should be cheaper. Honestly, it should be cheaper than if you're freaking doing like casting metal. If you're building something super complex like Ian Davis, I think his name is. I recommend everybody if you're interested in prosthetics. He's an amputee. He's got four of his fingers missing, and he's got a really nice prosthesis he's made for himself. It's mechanical. He's dabbled in like electric, myoelectric devices. That would be like um, servos that contract your muscle contractions. He's come up with his own mechanical solution. It's got some nice features to it, but that's gonna be more expensive than 3D printing plastic, which you can 3D print the metal too. But again, that's gonna be it's gonna be a little more expensive, and I think that would be cool. I was hoping that I could work with him and somehow figure out how to scale his idea so that you could say scan somebody and then resize and reprint those components he's made for his hand to match the patient's hand, and thus you get a good result for the patient. And it would be, I'm not saying it'd be cheaper, it'd be you know more competitive in pricing because it'd be not handmade but 3D printed, right? Um, and then you could kind of like lower the price a bit for people. But it's complex. This is all complex. But we gotta do something. Gotta do something about affordability and affordability of everything in general. That's probably why you have all these election results now that are really like pushing the envelope on what people are expecting from their lawmakers these days. Which I think is good. Pressure. There's a lot of people who really need to get out of get out of our Congress, whatever, America. Make some room for the next generation to come in. People who have better ideas, bold ideas, people who have the energy to fight for you. You know, not just the status quo. You know, some of the Democrats who have been, well, why did Trump win and stuff? I'm trying to figure out why Trump won. Well, you know, he won on the promise. We should, you know, we should probably promise follow through. We could follow through on some things, and it'd be massively popular, probably. But why not? Are you being lobbied, perhaps? The lobbyists, man, kind of ruining things for people. People don't have a good lobby strategy. Boy, I'm adjusting vertices here, and I barely know what's going on. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get this thing closer to this gun handle. Trying to figure out a good way to do it. It's like I don't know if there's a really good way to do it. I was trying to go top to bottom, but then I started going like side to side too. The good thing is it's modeled, it's mirrored. I mean, so you don't have to do any of this twice. I mean, that's like that's looking somewhat better in some parts, but then you like look over here, for example, and you still got a lot of space here. This could absolutely look a little janky. We'll have time to fix everything. So just keep going in and working on the details. As things make sense. Okay, so Okay, so did I mention? Yeah, the about to go back to the spinal surgery story where he said, oh, not going to risk getting paralyzed. So that is a thing. That is a thing. And I don't know how to feel about it. Thus, I'm glad he had a patient come in the day before and he went through that experience. So that, maybe I won't get, hopefully I won't get, be paralyzed. Yeah. But also, we should, we should be able to 3D print medical guides. Like I've seen custom 3D printed medical devices based off of somebody's anatomy, and then they can put it on the person's anatomy and work on it like a jig. Think about like a jig for wood, so that the doctor isn't able to slip, or if he slips, it doesn't really matter that much because it'll get caught by the jig. That's kind of hoping for. Just 3D print something that's autoclavable in the shape of your spine, so that in surgery the doctor can lay it over your spine, and it has like a single opening where that screw is exactly, maybe a little bit bigger, so that you can get your prong in and cut away at the bone and excavate the screw to the point where you can grab it with a vice. And then if there were any slippage, it would just, you'd nick you'd nick the 3D print instead of nicking the person's nervous system. I'm fairly sure there's people working on stuff like that. There's 3D prints where doctor can use to practice on practice of surgery before committing and doing the real thing. Why not why not just make jigs that doctors can use in a situation like that to protect a certain area? Again with that yawning. We're almost there. It's gonna take some more adjusting. Again, I'm sure this was not the optimal way of doing things. It is a way nonetheless. You kind of need to play around with it. Definitely have to play around with it. Yeah, I'm just ignoring the button right now until later we figure out what the heck we're gonna do with that. So, we need to start adjusting these and whatnot. That's starting to take shape. A lot more detail we need to get done. Lucky I've got some time, but I need to get started on some other actual projects that I'm actually getting paid for. So I'm probably gonna go and grab something to eat real quick. And start working on some of those projects next. Hungry. Let me know what you guys think. Here is modeling a 9mm done so far. All you gotta do is take it nice and slow and easy. And eventually we'll get there. Learn along the way. Nothing's done perfectly. Okay. Now, as long as you're keeping most of your stuff in quads here, it'll be, you know, useful for an animation. So yeah, thanks very much. Thanks guys for joining. I'm gonna save there. Save there. I need to actually do the save. But thanks, I appreciate you guys. You guys have a great day. Thank you for those who watched for a little bit. Maybe it wasn't that much. Love it if you guys say hi in the comments. Yeah. Let me know what you think we should do next. I'll probably continue working on this sometime, but I also have other things. I need to do something for some headphones that my son broke a while ago. Also, we have the purse insert. Here's the purse insert. Probably can't see it, but previously we made this organizer for inside a purse. You can follow along that video. You can use that same tutorial to make organizers for your desk, and it has pretty decent geometry. This is pretty sturdy, and you can print that on almost any printer. You export as an STL. I'm going to be resizing this to fit my wife's other purses. So if you really want to impress your girlfriend or something, you do something like this for her. You can just in Blender. I find it easier in Blender to do scaling and reshaping. So you can reshape this to say a purse that has a slightly different outline to it. So this one is more square like. I'm sorry if I'm not speaking into the mic. This one is more square like, and in Blender we'll be able to use some proportional editing, so you don't have to redo anything. Hopefully we'll take a photo of it and import it to make sure that it's easy for us, so we don't have to measure anything. That's what's really awesome about using reference photos. References are awesome. You'll learn a lot from them. As you see, using in that gun, I had downloaded a reference from somebody else. That's not exactly the one that we need. My officer friend has a slightly thicker grip, but that really is helps you get some details in. Okay. So this thing is really cool. Gets pushed into the bottom, and then your girlfriend can have a divider, and it makes her purse look like it's like display ready. You know, it's not the, you know how you buy the stuff and it's stuffed with foam so that it looks nice. This will get her. This will really impress her and will make it more useful for her. Anyway, so we got some other purses to do, and man, I'm modeling something every day. I have hundreds of models I've done. I'll make them available at some point for download. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are awesome. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next stream. Hopefully tomorrow, maybe later today. We'll see. I gotta pick up my kids from school. Anyway, peace out, guys. I'll see you in the next one.